What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Mafia Definitive Edition gameplay. So this obviously was supposed to release officially just a few hours ago. Obviously, it leaked last night. Everybody was showing it online last night. I think they kind of just gave up at some point and let IGN do it. And so now we've got to see it. You'll be seeing it, me talking over it as well. And I'm just going to kind of gloat about this game because honestly, this is exactly what I wanted. Is there issues with this gameplay? Yeah, there's some smaller things, and I think I'll point that out throughout this video, but I mainly want to focus on the positives, which honestly is I am very impressed with this gameplay. I think they've done a really, really good job. Look, this, and we've talked about this before, this needs to be good. This game absolutely needs to be good. This is, you can consider this, and I think I honestly would consider this at this point like a Mafia 4, right? This is like a brand new Mafia, which is even part of the title, right? This is a brand new Mafia game. I mean, yes, it's got Mafia 1, and it's doing Mafia 1 again, but I mean, literally, it is, it's such a good recreation, and it's bringing it up to speed, and I mean, it looks absolutely phenomenal. Now, again, there's some smaller things. I think playing The Last of Us Part 2 kind of got my expectations a little bit out of whack, because one of the things I do love about that game is the human will react to, or even, I guess, the infected will react to wherever you shoot them. So if you shoot them in the arm, you shoot them in the leg, they'll drop, or they won't be able to use, that body part. So, I want a world eventually where every game is like that. I get it. Again, it's a very, and by the way, I understand, it's a very small nitpick. The humans, some of the people that he's fighting in the gameplay, doesn't exactly react very well, either when they are being shot. They don't seem like they are the most intelligent AI as well. That's another thing maybe The Last of Us did, is they're very smart. They will flank you. They'll go around you. Mafia, they're going to be around in different areas. You can take them out. But again, I mean, that's just not, they're two different games. So I understand. I'm not going to hold that against Mafia, although just as an aside, I would like that to be kind of make its way into a lot of other games as the years progress. That, I would say really the only other thing is like when there's the car chase, that there's no real explosions to it. There are explosions in this game and they look phenomenal, but in the car chase, when you shoot the driver and the car kind of spins out, other vehicles did hit the car, even in the gameplay they showed, and nothing happened. It kind of just like slid off of it, which you would expect some damage. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily explode, but you would expect like an impact, right, for something to actually hit. Even games like Uncharted 2 have done that. So again, that one is maybe a little bit more of a thing that bothers me, but honestly, besides that, I guess I wanted to start right with some of the negative stuff. Besides that, I am insanely impressed with this gameplay. Firstly, cutscenes, the action itself, the world looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, this is, Mafia 3 looked really good. I'll say that. Mafia 3 did, and that game is kind of old at this point, right? Almost 5 years old. That game, this game looks insanely good. One of the things I liked is the fact that they used the kind of rain and it being dark outside. I actually like that, because in the very beginning of the gameplay, like when he's walking, like the lightning strikes and you literally, like the light, and you could see it on the ground even, like with the rain hitting the water. I mean, those small details like that, that's what it's not what I look for in games, but like that's what makes it even more immersive. That's when I can tell, like, oh yeah, they put you know what I mean? Like there's an extra level of care to this game. Again, gameplay seems really solid. There's not necessarily the impact there that I would like or I would love, but that aside, honestly, it doesn't really matter. It does feel like, and they did say, and so this shouldn't come as any surprise, right? The gameplay does feel like Mafia 3, and they did talk about how Mafia 3 was a big influencer in this gameplay, that it is actually going to play a lot like Mafia 3. The only difference is, Tony isn't a trained, soldier like Clay, right? So it's going, and I actually like the mechanic they use, like with the big kind of like reticle, but it's like the circle dot kind of thing. I like that, where your aim maybe isn't necessarily perfect. Again, that's a really cool thing, kind of to separate the two games. Gameplay, honestly, and that's the thing too. That's what's hard about this gameplay presentation in general is, and actually that it plays to a strength of it, because here's what I'll say. The gameplay, I've never played Mafia 1. Okay, I played Mafia 2, the remaster, and I played Mafia 3 when it first came out. The gameplay, I would say, has never been the strong suit of Mafia. I don't know if that's unfair fair to say. I don't know if that's maybe like a minority opinion, but that's my opinion. The story has actually always been the strongest aspect of a Mafia game. Okay, driving, car chase. Now they say car chases has always been a big staple. I mean, I guess again, I've never really felt like it's over the top. You know what I mean? I just feel like, again, a game like Uncharted, like that car chase is always going to speak to me a little bit more. It's just kind of that action adventure-y thing that I like. Again, Mafia's always been more grounded, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I'm saying. The story has always been what has been the strongest suit of Mafia. Gameplay, I think, has always come second. That's not necessarily the formula you want, right? But it's one that can definitely work, and it has worked. So what I'm saying, and I'm not saying this to be negative, by the way, I'm saying the good news is based off of this gameplay trailer, or this gameplay presentation, let's call it, two things. One, the visuals, again, graphics in terms of cutscenes, and just the world itself looks absolutely incredible. So they have that in their pocket. You don't even need to worry, I think, about this game not looking good, about not running great. I mean, that, honestly, the Mafia 2, remastered, what's one of the main things that people really, including myself, why did we pile on that game? Well, I mean, it was a pretty poor remaster. It wasn't really a remaster, right? It was kind of almost like a port that they said was a remaster, which actually has kind of been done in the past, not by them, but in different kind of scenarios. So that was a really big aspect. Glitches, the frame rate dropping, all this kind of stuff. Those were big issues in that Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. I hope and I think that it won't be in this one, right? It seems like, and again, this is a 14-minute thing. It's a very, it's captured. It's all in like their, in their house. So it's like, okay, well, they could definitely make it better than it actually will be. But, I trust them. I honestly trust them that I think the frame rate will hold. I think the graphics will hold. I think all of that. I think that's all solid. And then again, the gameplay itself looks pretty darn good. I mean, it's still Mafia, but it looks like it's definitely taken those steps up. Is it an elite gameplay presentation? No. Would I say even when I play it, would I say this is going to be like my favorite gameplay, kind of game? No. I think that's actually next to a 0% chance that happens, right? But again, those two things have been improved. The game is not going to run poorly. The game is not going to look like it's still a PS3 version, right? It's going to look like it was a Mafia game made for 2020. It's going to feel like it's a Mafia game made for 2020, and that's awesome, and they have that. And then again, the gameplay, while not revolutionary, not necessarily in my specific wheelhouse, it's solid. It's solid enough, and honestly, that's all I can expect for it. And that's all really, like when I go into this game, that's kind of what I don't even hold against it, and I'm going to try to not hold it against this game. It's like, well, I know what to expect from these games, right? I know that the gameplay maybe isn't going to be, exactly for me. You just got to deal with it. It's solid enough. I'm not saying I hated the gameplay. I actually thought there were some really cool moments in Mafia 2. So same thing with this game. I think there's going to be some really solid moments, and then everything else is just adding on top of it. Again, with the new graphics, literally building it from the ground up, you get these performances that, again, playing Mafia 2, I had never played Mafia 2 before, so this remaster, this Definitive Edition was my first time. And although, it wasn't the greatest looking game, there are a lot of emotions and there's a lot of bonds, because of the stories that Mafia tells, right? It kind of, they actually kind of repeat the theme of like brotherhood and just, again, like building relationships between these characters, because it is, Mafia, you are in a family, right? That's basically what the whole thing is about. So it's important to convey those, emotions, you know what I mean? And so when you have Mafia 2, I actually still felt a lot of stuff with those characters. Actually, a lot of them, especially, towards like the second half when the story really started to pick up. I felt a lot of it. And again, it's hard to connect with people that can't actually have facial expressions. Now, again, these facial expressions, again, I know I keep comparing it to Last of Us Part 2. There are, again, and it's not even just Last of Us Part 2. There are other games that have like very elite, facial capture systems, right, where you can really tell what the character is feeling, and then obviously that can help you relate to them, that can make you hate them, that can make you love them, like all those different kinds of things, right? Mafia is not in that elite territory, this game, but what I will say is it's right below it. It is right below it where, okay, now you can really get the most out of these performances where, and they showed even that in this video, right? You can really get the most of these performances where you can feel what these characters feel. And again, I don't even know what the story is. I've never played the game, so I don't even know what to expect. I don't know what the ending is going to be. I don't know how emotional the game is going to get. But I hope that with this, with the technology and with making it again now, that whatever emotions I'm supposed to feel, I think I have a better chance of feeling. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing with a remake where, you look back at when this game originally came out. how are you really supposed to feel all that? Now, again, we did. And it's not saying we could never feel like the original Final Fantasy VII, right? That game is very, very old, right? That game was in the late 90s, and that game obviously made people feel a whole heck of emotions, right? And look at the characters, in that game, right? So it's not impossible, but it's a lot harder and it's a lot easier now. So we'll have to see. I'm looking forward to this game so much. Honestly, that gameplay trailer, again, a few nitpicks aside, I know I hampered on them, but they really aren't that big of a deal. I really am impressed by this gameplay. I am so ready to go to play this game. I cannot wait. Besides a few things, everything looks really, really solid in this game. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you excited for Mafia? What do you think about this gameplay? Do you agree with some of the strengths, the weaknesses? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And I'm going to be continuing making Mafia videos every so often. Obviously, we only got around 2 months until this game comes out. I'll be making more leading into it. I'll be playing it. We'll live stream it. We'll have videos on it when it comes out. Loads of stuff over the next coming months, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.